There's a lot going on for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Watch, but first we unfortunately have to start with addressing this because it's the number one thing in my mentions. I know it's going to take over the comment section, and I want to say what I think, but I've tried to record this 30 times. I've learned I can't not be emotional about it, and I want to speak from the heart. So people are buying out the Kazuki Takahashi art cards following his passing. I am not going to highlight those on the screen and point giant red arrows towards them, but what I will say is I've seen a lot of amazing support following his passing, people changing their profile pictures to Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I think it did put into perspective to a lot of Duelist how much Yu-Gi-Oh meant to them. For me, I know personally, Yu-Gi-Oh saved my life at one point. I dived into this game during a very dark time, and I came out the tunnel a way better ending for me. And then it turned into my living. This passion, I actually dropped out of college, I started buying, selling, trading cards, and then a second way, I began to be able to talk about cards for a living, talking about the game I love. And after he passed, I realized I have none of this without him. So I get that people are processing different ways, and some people might want a physical appreciation of his art in Yu-Gi-Oh card form, but there are specific targeted buyouts that are very clear, and people acting like asshats about it, dangling the cards on Facebook groups saying, look what I have, how much should I charge? And other people also silently canceling orders and tripling them up in price, which is already a scumbag move we deal with in the community, but profiteering off of death, it's just not it. It's something you should not be doing. So I want to say to that end, while I know Yu-Gi-Oh is a different collectible and I'm not a financial advisor, I don't know the future of how these collectible prices will go. I want to point over to the Stan Lee stuff and how people reacted over that and how ugly it was, while people also pointed out who he was in life and how capitalistic he would be in showmanship and how he would have actually kind of enjoyed it or tried to justify it that way. A lot of people thought they got family heirlooms and inheritance for their kids, and now they're selling them for less than they bought them for on eBay. So do not give in to the profiteers trying to get juiced prices off of the specific cards. I will also not point red arrows towards these, but there are cheaper cards still on the market with his art that are very affordable if you do want that physical piece. Go ahead and talk with somebody that loves Yu-Gi-Oh if you don't know what those are and you don't already have them. I fortunately already have those cards for my collection, or I actually might be seeking out a little something to put front, middle page binder. Like, I really think that's something that I understand that people do want that, but just going in droves and trying to buy it out yourself, it's pretty sick in my book. That being said, let's go ahead and get into today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Watch, with Legendary Duelist Season 3 pre-sales being what's new. Greed. People without competition, 8 listings, able to try to corner the market. Well, Gamer's Choice is over here, and you don't even need to use my code. It will support the channel directly when you are purchasing today, and they have very good prices comparatively. Like, oh look, Magician Souls, regular at $20, and the color letter rare version like red, blue, which red is introduced in this series, is just $15. And look over at TCG Player. $40, $37, $32. I wonder why they might start to go down all of a sudden too, as a lot of traction will be over here. Gamer's Choice is one of the big boy vendors, and Magician Souls being at 15 towards the top, with Magician Souls ahead actually as the most hyped card in the set right now, followed by Liquid at just 15, and everything else 10 or cheaper for the most part, quickly 5. It's an awesome look, and they're having a sale where anything you add to the cart is 15% off this weekend. Again, this will not last. It's a temporary anniversary of their store. It's why they didn't do a July 4th sale, and I really do like them celebrating themselves to a degree. I think they deserve a little pat on the shoulder for taking this approach in the community, not leading with greed, but realistic expectations, as people usually have that itch, right? Gotta get my cards now, gotta have it, gotta secure it, okay, I'm good, I know it's coming, and like not freaking out about a price going up. This set has a lot of hype going behind it after Legendary Duelist Season 2, the hero cards, Yugi's cards, and I do think it's a pretty awesome time for the set, and I really do like the dice set too. The Dark Magician one, I believe, is the Chase. At just $15, usually the Chase dice ends up going for 15, so it's like you're throwing in the extras for free, and I love that they also gave Junk Synchron a little love. So go check out Gamer's Choice today for their legendary Duelist Season 3 pre-sales versus the extremely bloated ones on TCG Player, and I do wonder how some of these prices will pan out long term. Like, I think Magician Souls will probably, even though it's a little harder to pull, end up being cheaper than Magician Souls long term. You know, a card you're going to grab 3 of versus 1 to 2 of for the extra deck, but you know, power 1-ofs for the extra deck sometimes do that. We're talking Dark Magicians at this point. They also have deck cores to check out, but I feel like they're missing certain things. Like, I do not see Magician Souls in this deck core. So also look through their deck cores, make sure you're getting what you need versus the prices and stacking them up, and also check out their sealed product like Megatins. But yeah, I really think the TCG Player needs to do something about their pre-sale system and how they have these limited sellers, but there's not really a great way around that, right? Like, if they allow everybody to sell, then you get those scumbag canceled pre-orders when something spikes in price, versus like having this limit list creates a non-competitive platform. I don't know the answer for TCG Player. Right now they're trying to protect the shopping experience, but that shopping experience is just high price tags that are getting blown out by other competitors. Power of the Elements drops here soon, and that will be after the North American Championship. However, we now have our regional season lining up sooner than ever since there's no Worlds. Straight into August, we're going to be competing, and I think that's pretty darn awesome. So we don't, however, have that cool off double down period where it's naturally cooling off because people are selling off because they're not playing in events, and the reprint sets are coming. Now it's just the reprint sets, which has a lot of speculation after last year's Forbidden Droplet crap show of, wow, well, Droplet didn't end up in the 10s and ended up shorted in Brothers. What's going to miss? Is it Prosperity? They have all these awesome cards in the 10s, or will it be the kitchen sink as it was with the, you know, Apollosa double reprints and all the really great kitchen sink Megatins? We don't know. Every single Megatin ends up changing. But what I will say is that staple reprints are very readily available in the Megatins, such as Forbidden Droplet, which was also just in Legendary Duels from the Deep. And then you have Lightning Storm, Nibiru, Dragoon, Ash Blossom. People were asking me what I think about getting staples right now. And I think certain ones like Crossout Designator that are following a lot because people speculate it could get like a reprint in the 10s. They're not the worst pickup, but again, you're gambling versus a potential reprint, and it's way down in price through this competitive season. But a lot of people going, look, you're going to be playing a lot of mirror matches come Power of the Elements because we're only going to see so many different decks. They're also speculating on our ban list and format when they say that, and that's where, again, huge money can be found through cards. So I think cards like Crossout Designator and maybe even Triple Tactics Talent, which currently doesn't have a reprint slot, I could see Konami letting this get bloated like Infinite Impermanence and waiting to try to use to sell a March/spring reprint set, because it's anywhere in the spring now, right, for Ghost, and try to use it as a key reprint. I could see Konami maybe trying to do something like that. But for other staples, like Forbidden Droplet, that is clearly listed right here, I would just wait for the reprint, because a lot of people have been asking me, should I grab staples now? Should I wait? Well, there's the regional season now already is what people are taking into consideration. If you have an event to play in, unfortunately, you're coughing up the dough or begging your friends to borrow cards. That's where you're stuck at. But if a reprint clock is already ticking for a card, then I would definitely be holding off, and the rest of it ends up being speculation on if or isn't there a reprint. But if it's likely to be in the Megatins, I would probably sell that and wait for the reprint. Finally, Warrior of Atlantis is up in price. Apparently, the fish deck actually can play Legendary Ocean. It's kind of nice to see that throwback. And you're seeing double down buyouts, because remember, this was bought out a long time ago. On Warrior of Atlantis, actually, I think this is like its fourth buyout in somewhat recent history, but yeah, it's just been marching up for even its lower rarity versions like original Force of the Breaker, the structure deck version, and of course the ultimate rare with only 2 true printings out there, the Force of the Breaker version as well as the common from the structure deck. You're limited on options, and the ulti certainly is way way up there in price right now, with the first edition completely bought out. So, what do you guys think of everything going on with the cooler side of the market, such as the Legendary Duelist Season 3 pre-sales, and how those are going? Do you expect more prices to fall out? I think Gamer's Choice has a really good approach towards pre-sales. And what do you think about the staples? Which ones would you be grabbing right now, versus which ones would you be holding off on that don't already have an announced reprint like the list from the Megatins? What are you speculating is on a very sharp reprint clock and likely to nosedive in price? And will Konami be giving us prosperity? I think that's a pretty good question. Thanks for watching today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Watch. I know it was a little more volatile than usual. I'll be doing a live stream tonight, 0 donation incentives at all. We'll be watching DM Episode 1 along with some Season 0 goodness and playing a little bit of Master Duel before that as people gather. And I want to talk about stories with Yu-Gi-Oh! And what Yu-Gi-Oh! Means to me and the friends it's brought into my life, as well as listen to some of your stories. So I will have 0 donation incentives on that period. Just come, join, hang out, and talk some Yu-Gi-Oh! Thanks for watching, everybody.